To head off on a foreign holiday and expect to hire a car whilst you're abroad, you might want to listen closely. From today, the paper part of the UK driving licence, the bit which shows details of restrictions and penalties, will be scrapped. Good news, you might think. However, there's a potential catch. Anyone who needs to view these details in full will now need to access them online, including hire car agencies in the UK and abroad. Motoring groups are warning that holiday makers could face delays and confusion as a result, although the DVLA says a car rental company will be well aware of the changes. They should all be. Alison Ashworth is head of motoring law at Forster Dean Solicitors, and I asked her what these changes mean for drivers.
From today, the counterpart driving licence will no longer have any legal status. For most people, this won't make a great deal of difference. However, it will have a significant impact on people who are intending to hire a car abroad this year. The reason for that is that previously, a person would be asked for their counterpart licence before the person would hand over the vehicle to. However, that's no longer possible. Now, the person would need to go through some initial steps before they get to their destination in order to have an access code available to hand over to the hire car company in order for them to view the up-to-date status of their driving licence.
So what are the steps that we need to do? You mentioned an access code.
Yes, exactly. It's all now moving on to an online service. So what the person needs to do is they need to log on to the DVLA's new driving licence service. They need to then generate a unique single-use access code via the Share Driving Licence section. They should then make a note of the code and print off the PDF summary of the record, and then they need to hand that over to the hire car company. The hire car company may well accept the PDF at face value, or they may well ask for the code, and then they need to input that into the DVLA's Share Driving Licence service. But as I said, this is only a single-use code, and it's only valid for 72 hours. So what I would recommend is that people generate this code as close to their departure as possible, because otherwise they may well find themselves in another country trying to find the nearest internet cafe, or otherwise they're going to be facing some very expensive roaming charges.
It all seems quite confusing, though. Why is the DVLA doing this? Is it just to save money?
Well, that's part of the reason, yes. It's all part of a big red tape cutting initiative, so that it's part of a way to save money and also to try and make our lives easier, because there's many people out there that may well not know where their counterpart driving licence is right now. So under those circumstances, so particularly forgetful people, it's a way of reassuring them that there will always be a means to access their driving record should they need to use it.
Is it going to go smoothly, the transition, or not?
Well, these things never tend to go smoothly. I imagine there's probably going to be a few bumps in the road. I think the main issue at this stage is making sure that everybody's aware of the changes. There may well be a number of people who go to hire a car abroad and take their counterpart with them and simply have no idea that they need to generate this code in advance. And on the flip side, there's probably going to be some companies out there who also aren't aware of the changes and will be expecting the counterpart that people might not have with them. So under these circumstances, with it being a very new change and it only coming into force today, I would suggest anybody going away in the next few weeks or even the next few months, I would suggest taking the counterpart licence with them just to be sure.
So why isn't it down to the hire car company itself when you agree to hire a car online? Why isn't it down to them to go and check if your licence is valid or not, or what the penalties there are on your licence?
Well, they will be doing that, but they need the confirmation from you because of the confidentiality aspect. They need you to be able to hand over this code to them in advance. Otherwise, everybody could just look at everybody's licenses. So in the same way that you would need to volunteer a counterpart license, you will now have to do this initial legwork in order to generate the code. The legwork then will be passed on to the third party, who will need to input that code into a separate service to view the license. Otherwise, there is a premium rate phone line that they could call, but of course they would be more than likely to pass those charges on to you as the car hirer, which if you're in another country, those charges could be quite high.
Alison Ashworth there of Forster Dean Solicitors. Officials in the South Korean city of Daejeon say that an